Question: I would like to know about your connection to us Europeans. It would seem we are most definitely kin, especially Northern Europeans like myself. I am of the opinion that I want to live amongst my own kind. I want the lands of my people to be for my people. I suppose if that makes me a racist, then so be it. My girlfriend and I intend on making 3 more blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies. I am not against other races having their own living space, culture, heritage and racial features, just as long as they do it in their own countries. It is untrue, this oft-repeated lie that there is one race, the human race.
Dear questioner, this is Tunia speaking. It gladdens my heart that you think of us as kin, because we too think of Earthlings as kin. Anytime you follow your joy, we are there cheering you on, so long as your joy doesn't harm other people, which of course yours doesn't. If your joy is having 3 blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies together, well, great. We wish you and your girlfriend and your future children all the happiness and success in the world. If I were to show you 100 Pleiadians, or 100 Arcturians, or 100 Andromedans, you would likely observe that there is very little physical differences between various members of one extraterrestrial species. For example, 2 male Pleiadians have roughly the same height and skin color. To clarify, I am a Pleiadian myself. Pleiadians are one kind of human, just as you are. However, people on your planet do look quite different from another. That is because some people have a higher percentage of Pleiadian genes, whereas other people have more genes from other extraterrestrial races. There's no Earthling with 100% Pleiadian genetics. All Earthlings are a mix of genes from various extraterrestrial races. Different groups of Earthlings have a bit more genes from that extraterrestrial race and less genes from that extraterrestrial race. It is actually this diversity of genetics, plus your experience with both the light and the dark, that is the root cause of the incredibly high psionic potential of your race. It's not uncommon for Pleiadians to be able to teleport or to be in 2 places at once, yet without question Earthlings have a greater psionic potential than ours. Yours is simply unrealized. This is because of the diversity of your genetics, and your experience with both the light and the dark. In my perspective, fundamentally all Earthlings are one, because you can all have children with each other. Plus you are all connected via the same collective unconscious. At the same time, different groups on your planets have slightly different genetic configurations. This gives certain groups slight strengths and slight weaknesses. Intergroup children have slightly different traits too. That said, individual differences are much bigger than group differences. It's a good idea to judge people as individuals first and members of a group second. No group on your planet is just worse than another group. Every group has things to offer. It is perfectly okay to be proud of your own group and its qualities and accomplishments, but it is also good to have an eye for things that other groups do well. You may be able to learn from each other. If you and your girlfriend care about preserving the specific DNA configuration, and its unique advantages and disadvantages, that corresponds to blonde-haired, blue-eyed people, then go for it. Your approach isn't hurting anyone and you're following your joy, which makes us happy. Yes, people with a traditionally Scandinavian appearance have quite a lot of Pleiadian DNA in them. However, there are other Earthling group with certain amounts of Pleiadian DNA in them too. Also, there are other extraterrestrial races out there that are just as advanced as us Pleiadians, if not more so. I am in no way saying that white Earthlings are superior to other Earthlings. For example, there are groups within the Indian subcontinent that have a great talent for spirituality. Every group of Earthlings has something to offer. Of course, all of this is just my perspective. In no way am I claiming to have the one and only truth. I hope this message was helpful. Thank you again for your question, it brightened my day. With love, Tunia.
As the channeler, I would like to add some comments. Tunia has said she agrees with the following message. First of all, I, the channeler, do not have the same worldview that the questioner does. Also note that Tunia in her message has stated that she thinks that fundamentally all Earthlings are one. Pleiadians basically have the mindset that they respond with love and joy to any action that does not directly harm other people. They do not judge people's thoughts or desires, even if those thoughts are bad, so long as it doesn't rise to the level of, someone is planning an action that directly harms other people. Pleiadians don't do thought crime. Would Pleiadians agree with forced deporting people? No, they do not. Would Pleiadians agree with, for example, not hiring someone based on the color of their skin? No, they do not. Naturally, I do not agree with these actions either. However, the questioner did not say, I am going to force deport people. The practical action that the questioner talked about is, my girlfriend and I want to have children. Well, no problem there. Did he have thoughts and intentions attached to that? Yes. Do those thoughts and intentions constitute a planned action to directly harm other people, not indirectly harm, but directly harm? Not from the Pleiadian point of view. Pleiadians don't do thought crime. Similarly, the questioner's desire to live among what he calls his own kind, isn't a practically planned action to directly harm other people. Hence it's responded to with love and joy by Pleiadians, as all desires are. Tunia responding with joy does not say anything about whether she personally has, or does not have the same worldview. She just loves everyone and everything. If you look through a Pleiadian's eyes, everyone would look as a divine fractal of God, and every opinion, including so-called bad ones, would look as parts of God. The questioner here is part of God, expressing something that's part of God. Tunia discovered a part of God she wasn't very experienced with yet, and she responded with joy and love, as she would respond to any part of God, regardless of whether she agreed with it or not. Pleiadians would say that responding with love is simply the best and most productive thing you can do in any situation that doesn't involve someone directly harming someone else. Earthlings have done the game of, tell supposed bad people they are bad, for millennia now. Clearly it does not work. Let's try something else. Let's try love. Also, don't be too quick to wish that Pleiadians would judge so-called bad people. If they did, they could easily judge nearly everyone on Earth, because Pleiadians are much more spiritually advanced and loving than we Earthlings are. The real Tunia loves you very much. But imagine a hypothetically judgmental version of her that thinks that 95% of humanity is bad because they do not do enough or donate enough to help others. Do you think it would help the situation on Earth, if this hypothetical Tunia started sending out messages saying unless you are spending large amounts of time and money helping your fellow man, you are a bad person? And if you are someone who actually does spend a huge amount of time helping other people, then I am sure that hypothetical Tunia could find some other area in which to judge you. Would you think that you personally would benefit more from the real I love you Tunia, or from a hypothetical Tunia that focused on telling 95% of humanity that they are bad people because they are not doing enough to help your fellow man? Hence, would you not agree that approaching people with love is better than approaching people with judgment? Would you not rather be approached with love than with judgment? Tunia is doing us a great service by demonstrating what unconditional love looks like. It means loving everybody and everything, including people who you may very much disagree with. Yes, it is radical. Yes, it is not something that Earthlings do often. But imagine what an amazing world we would create if everyone responded with so much love to everyone else. The world needs unconditional love, not judgment. We will not solve the world's problems by telling so-called bad people that they are bad. We will solve the world's problems with love. And yes, that includes treating people with love if we disagree with them, as I disagree with the questioner. Of course, this is my perspective. Neither I nor Tunia claim to have the sole and absolute truth here.